What's up guys, it's Kyra and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm excited to bring you guys another do's and don'ts video, but today will be all about the eyes. So in my last video, I did my eyebrow do's and don'ts and you guys seem to really love that video. So I want to come to you guys and do an eyeshadow one. Today is all about the eyes and I feel like this is one that honestly there could be multiple versions of this do's and don'ts video simply because there's so many different ways to do your eyeshadow, you guys. You have your everyday eyeshadow look, you have cut creases, you have, you know, like bolder eye look, smoky eyes. There's like so many different eyeshadow versions, and honestly your technique and placement will change depending on the type of look that you're wanting to do. So again, there could be many different ways of doing your eyeshadow, but today's tutorial, or you know, do's and don'ts video per se, will be more so focused on the placement of just like a normal eyeshadow look, and that could honestly also be transferred into other different looks as well. I mean, the technique and placement of things may change, but overall the idea should stay the same. Okay, so you guys are all zoomed in now to get a really close look up at my eyes and make sure that you guys really get the detail of what I'm doing. Whenever I do my shadow, you guys know that I never ever don't use an eyeshadow base or primer. That's simply because the base or the primer is what's going to help your shadow stay in place all day. So I'll do the same thing again today. The right side will be the right side and the left side will be the don't side. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my favorite MAC Blend Yellow paint pot, and it's a small stippling brush. This is from BH Cosmetics, and just apply this all over my lid. You don't need a whole lot, honestly. It's just a thin, even layer all over the lid. Without the primer on this side, my shadow will start to crease up and break up, and it won't look the same as on the side with the shadow base. So that's just, you know, a major tip. Next up is going to be my do. So you guys know that I almost always use a transition or skin colored shadow first. I almost always do that just because I feel like, to me personally, having some kind of transition shade there really helps with blending. It always helps with blending. I'm going to use the Violet Voss Pro Palette today. I haven't used this one in quite a while, and it's a really gorgeous palette, very neutral and pretty. And I want to take the shade WCW right here, which as you can see is just a really nice matte soft brown, and apply this into the general crease area. Now, another do is to use a matte shadow. Okay, now this is kind of where it varies. You know, different people can get creative and do different things. But in general, I generally never use a metallic shade in my crease. And I'll show you guys the why in a second, but just know matte in the crease is it. That's what you want to do for the most part. Unless you want to do something more creative and step out the box. But if you're just like a makeup enthusiast or just want to do something, you know, for a night out or for work or whatever, matte in the crease always. So I have it on this fluffy brush. Gonna just take it, kind of apply it all over. And this also gonna act as like a way to set that primer in place. And you can barely see it, and again, that's the point. The point is to barely see it because this is our transition shade, you guys. So it should be very close to your skin tone. And just for the basics, if you guys don't know, the crease is the part of the eye where the eyeball kind of meets the brow bone. So like right in here. You see that, how there's like a crease there? That's the crease. So we have our don't side over here. Again, we didn't apply any eyeshadow primer or shadow base. And then my next don't again will be my metallic shade in the crease. So I'm going to show you guys what happens whenever you kind of do something a little bit different there and apply a metallic to your crease area. So I'm going to take this shade Baddie from that Violet Voss Like a Boss palette. And I'm going to take the shade Baddie, which is a cool toned shimmer shade, and taking this on a fluffy brush. Now you guys watch what happens. You see how already it gives, first of all, it's just depositing a bunch of shimmer onto the eye, which is a no-no. And also we have no natural transition to the shimmer at all. It's just brow, you know, my concealer under my brow, and then straight metallic. And that's definitely what you want to stay away from. So this is what it looks like with metallic and crease. Okay, a mess. I don't like it. I personally just don't like metallic that far up, to be honest. Unless it's like a brow bone highlight, I don't do it. Next up is going to be the placement for our darker shadow. You guys know typically I'll place it in my crease, but I do apply it right below where I apply my transition. So I'm going to go ahead and take, let's see, I'll do Serve. So Serve is this reddish brown right here. And typically whenever I do plan on using, you know, a dark brown or some kind of darker shade, the key there is to build it up. So I already have my transition or skin colored shade down first. And then I'll typically apply one other, like, you know, reddish brown, like, you know, chocolate brown. And then I'll really go in for like the deep fudge or, you know, deep chocolate brown there. So I typically will use about 3, maybe 4 colors whenever I'm working with dark shadows. Again, more so for layering and helping to build up the color, and it also helps with just blending it out. So I'm going to take a Morphe M433 brush and just apply this in my crease. Again, focusing it in the crease, and I'm not bringing the color up too far at all, okay? So here's again the crease, you guys. Here's the brow bone. You don't want to bring the shadow up into the brow bone, like right under where you see the little bit of highlight. You want to keep that. You want to keep that free of shadow. So I've been applying the shadow kind of below my arch and then focusing it more so in the crease and then down on the lid. So I don't bring it up too far into the brow bone. And I'm bringing it just around the entire crease just to get the color all over. And again, it's all about just building up the crease. And then you can always go in with the first brush that you use and just blend out any harsh lines. Just make sure that everything fades together seamlessly. Okay, so here's the right side so far. For the don't side, I'm gonna first of all show you guys what happens whenever you bring the color too far up into your brow bone, and then also show you guys what happens if you just go in with just a deep chocolate color and bring it up into the crease. So I'm gonna first go back in with Baddie, that first shade we applied on the don't side, and bring it up into the brow bone. Okay, so as you can see, whenever you bring it up into the brow bone, you disrupt where you've cleaned up your brows and where you've applied the concealer. So you see over here, my brows, or under my brows, still looks nice and clean and sharp. But over here, whenever you bring it up into the brow bone, you will lose that. So now my brows don't look as nice and clean. And again, this is all personal preference, you guys. It's all just whatever you want to do. People may like that look, and there's nothing wrong with it at all. Just for my personal taste, I don't care much for this unless I am intentionally wanting to go for this look, which is almost never. Next, I'm going to show you guys what happens if you just go ahead and not build up the color and just apply a deep chocolate brown into your crease. So I'm going to take the shade Strong, okay? So if I were building on my color intensity, I would focus it right in this crease area, like literally not bring it up further than this, okay? Like literally right in here. But a don't would be to just go ahead and just plop it right in the crease and blend it out and up into the crease in the brow bone. So let's just say I just went ahead and just plopped it right here, okay? Right there. That's already too high, okay? But just for don't sake, let's say I apply it right in my crease and then blend it out. There's a couple things wrong here. First of all, you applied it way too high. You should have applied it down here in the crease. So within the crease, you know, like there's different parts of the crease to work with, but where I applied it is right below the brow bone. So my brow bone ends right here, okay? My crease ends down here, but I've applied it right below my brow bone, and now that I'm blending it out, I don't really have anywhere to blend it out into. You see what I'm saying? So the only place for it to go is just further up into the brow bone. Placement is key. So you'll see on this side where I apply it at, but just know that you want to typically always start off with some kind of transition shade to help build into those darker chocolate colors. All right, so next color. I'm gonna just go ahead and take the shade, I'll do the shade Snatched over here. And Snatched is also a chocolate brown, not as deep as Strong, but pretty close. And you see where I'm applying it? First and foremost, I always want to apply it to the outer corner. And I always focus on applying it on the outer portion first and then blending it inwards, because where you place your brush is where you'll get the most product placement. So, I mean, naturally, if you have a bunch of product on a brush, wherever you place the brush is where you'll get the most product, okay? So I always apply it to the outer portion of my eye, okay? And then I just blend that in. And as you can see, you guys see the difference here? Ooh, I'm gonna have fallout, but oh well. Here I applied it in the crease, higher up in the crease, basically right below the brow bone, and blending it out. So I don't have anywhere to apply it. And also, as you can see, I didn't apply it on the outer portion. I pressed it right in the center. No, that's a no-no. A no, okay? Over here, I applied it in the outer portion of my eye, and now I'm just lightly blending it inwards, okay? And I'm using a very, very, very light hand, and I'm not bringing it all the way over. So I typically stop like about 1/4 of the way in. And that's just typically how I personally, whenever I'm doing smoky eyes using a darker color, I typically will stop it kind of like right in there, more so to define my eye shape. So again, kind of focusing it and blending it out. And also, as you can see, now as I blend it out, I have somewhere for that color to go. You can always go ahead and take a clean blending brush and just blend out those harsh lines. That's definitely a do. Whenever I'm working with multiple shades, multiple shadows, I always like to go in with a clean brush and just blend them together to make it nice and seamless, you guys. Nice and seamless. That's what we want. Alrighty, so next up will be our lid color. Again, you guys, this is just a simple makeup look. Not a whole lot going on. Nothing too intricate. I'm going to go ahead and take, I think I'm going to do the shade down here. It's a shade Extra. And I feel like this shade here will look really, really nice with the browns I have. It's a really pretty green, and apply this all over my lid, okay? Now, I could use a brush, and I probably will actually end up going in with a brush and cleaning it up with the brush, but most of the time the metallics apply and look much, much, much better when you apply it with your finger. So another do here is kind of focus this color, the metallic shade, right all over the lid, okay? And it's also personal preference if you want to bring the color all the way out onto the outer V, or kind of keep it in, you know, inside that matte color. You guys notice that typically I'll keep it right about 3/4 of the way over, and I'll leave the matte color on the outer V. Personal preference, again, is just my choice. But you could, if you wanted to, bring the color all the way over. And also, I'm bringing it just a little bit, you guys, just a little bit into the crease. And what I'm doing here is I'm actually kind of filling in that space that I did not apply that chocolate brown. So if you remember, when I was applying the chocolate brown to the crease, I kind of left it kind of like about here, right? I didn't bring it all the way over. So that space that I didn't bring that chocolate brown to, I kind of left that open, and I typically will apply my metallic shade right in that empty space. So that way you have more of your inner lid covered, you know, in the metallic, and then more of your outer lid covered in the chocolate matte brown. Alrighty, so that's my finger, and then I'll go in with a small shader brush and just clean up that inner portion because of my nails. I can't get too close in there because of my nails, so I typically clean up this part with a brush. And I'll kind of just take it, kind of just carve out my lid shape. You see? Go ahead actually and take a little bit more on that same blending brush and kind of just help feather that chocolate into that green, and just clean up that crease, just to, you know, redefine that crease area. And then on the don't side, you want to just go ahead and just apply the color all over, so you're not really focusing on applying it on the lid. You're also not focused on, you know, following your natural eye shape. On the do side, as you guys can see, I did follow my natural eye shape first and foremost. And then I didn't bring the color too far up or too far in over. I want to keep it basically where my natural lid is. Just wanted to give a little bit more definition, a little bit more color in the crease. But on the don't side, I've seen women typically bring the color too far up. Now, again, this is all personal preference. I've seen women, I've actually had looks before that required me to bring my color all the way up, but that was intentional. And sometimes it's usually not intentional when I see women that do it. So I want to go ahead and bring the color all the way up and all the way over. And by too far over, I mean like even starting to come onto the sides of my nose. That's a no-no, okay? You want to keep it in here, okay? And also I'm going to bring it all the way to the outer part of my eye. So that is going to show you guys how important placement is and how important blending out corresponding colors is. So you want to make sure that if you're blending out matte shades, that you blend out a matte shade into a matte shade or with a matte shade. And then same thing with metallics, kind of keep it in the general area and have it develop or fade or blend into those matte shades. In my opinion, I feel like mattes belong down before the shimmers, and the shimmer shade should, whenever you look at it like this, for example, the shimmer shade, in my general opinion, should fade into the matte shades. So I'm going to go ahead and take my brow bone color. I'm going to go ahead and take the shade here, which is Hustle. And Hustle is a really light but peach undertoned matte shade. And I'm going to go ahead and take this and apply this to the highest point of my brow bone. I don't like to bring it too far down. I just keep it literally, you guys, right in there. Like right in there. And you see how kind of this lifts up your brow even more? That's the right side, okay? On the don't side, I've seen women, especially women of color, apply shadows that are way, way, way too light and that aren't complementary of their skin tone to their brow bone. So for example, I could go in, I mean, this isn't super bright, but let's just say I took the shade Swag, okay? So Swag is this really, really, really bright champagne metallic shade. Now, sometimes I will switch between metallic or shimmer for the brow bone highlight. I feel like in that general area, you could use either or, as long as you keep it to the minimum, which you guys saw. I just apply it literally right under here. I don't apply it all over anymore. Like I used to do that, but I don't do that anymore, and it's made a huge difference. So I don't apply my brow bone highlight all along the brow bone. I just apply it right at the highest point of the arc. So let's say I apply the shade Swag, okay? And apply this. And I also applied it all along my brow bone. See the difference there? First of all, in my opinion, the color is a little bit too bright. And also, I feel like if you do use a champagne shade, as I mentioned before, the key is to keep it minimal. You want to keep it right in there, and you want to also diffuse it so that way it's not so clownish. If I did take this and apply this right under the brow, I would take it and literally just dab it like that. Literally. Just a very, very small amount just to get a little bit of that light to hit under my brow, but it would be like very, very, very minimal. Nothing like this. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and leave the eyes alone. I'm going to go ahead and work on the lower lash line and just show you guys some real quick do's and don'ts that I personally use or have seen myself. And just to reiterate, you guys, these tools can be used towards various color variations. So just because I use browns and this goldish green on my eyes, I would still use this exact same technique if I were to be using copper shades or red shades or pink shades or blue shades. Like, it's the same general idea as far as placement and blending and technique and things like that. It's more so just changing up the colors, but in general, it'll be the same. So today, I'm gonna go ahead and just use a black pencil in my waterline, but I could use brown, green, whatever. It's all generally the same. It's just, you know, whatever color you choose to use at that moment. But keeping it simple, I'm gonna take black. So I'm gonna use my Buxom gel liner, black gel liner, and apply that to the waterline. Okay, and then on the don't side, I'm gonna go ahead and use that same pencil, but one thing that I see a lot of women do is apply a pencil and never smudge or blend it out. And that's kind of something that I personally don't do. If I do apply some to the waterline, I will always smudge it out. I'm going to go ahead and just show you guys what happens if you don't smudge it out at all. So just apply it. And there you go. So I've seen people that will just, you know, apply the liner not only in their waterline, but also bring it down a little bit too far and actually apply it onto the skin. And they won't smudge out or anything. They'll just leave it just like this. And that is a no-no. And even going with the shade Snatched, which is that chocolate brown that we use in the outer corner. And apply that also to that liner and diffuse that out as well. And this step takes time, but it's so important. Because the whole idea is that basically you don't want to see where that liner ends. Like you don't want to see that liner just sitting there. So if you guys see now, and look really closely, on this side I basically diffused the liner to where you can't see where that liner starts and stops, okay? So basically what happened is I blended out the edges of that liner, so that way now it's smoky down there, but you can't really see where that liner starts and ends. You just see smokiness under the eye. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop on some falsies off camera and then come back and show you guys the final look. So I went ahead and popped on some falsies and mascara off camera, and also popped on a plum lipstick to pair with this eye look. And here's the final look at my do's and don'ts. So as you guys can see, there is a completely drastic difference between my do side and my don't side. You guys see that the do side is a lot cleaner, a lot crisper, a lot more wearable, and just a lot softer. And like I said earlier, although I did pick this color combo for today, I could use the exact same techniques, the exact same do's to create a different look using different colors. This is just something I would never ever do. But in college, you guys, my makeup looked just like this. So, you know, you live and you learn. I hope you guys, first of all, I hope that I explained it really well. And I hope that you guys got the gist of what I was trying to say and relate to you guys. And I hope that you guys, you know, can take these techniques and use them on yourself to create a really easy go-to eye look. So hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did enjoy, you can go ahead and show me your love by liking this video and also subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. And last but not least, go ahead and leave me down a comment below of like what you want to see next. Do you want to see lips? Do you want to see foundation, hide and contour? Just let me know down below what you want to see, because I would love to, you know, hear you guys' thoughts and see what you guys would think would be helpful and useful, and I will do my best to do it for you guys. And with that being said, I'll go ahead and end off the video and catch you guys in the next one. Bye guys.